lane fast, call it high speed. I've been working hard, yeah, I've been working nightly. If you think you'll win, nah, likely. I be taking shots, yeah, cold-blooded, icy. Watching numbers grow is what I call sightseeing. In the front row, run it up when they hype me. The following grows, they know how to ignite me. Call me CEO, I've been running right, see. And I ain't playing games, I create my own lane, making pleasure out of pain, turning losses into...
Pittsburgh Steelers fans, how's it going? Hope everybody's had a great Monday. Hope everybody's had a good weekend. I'm Daniel, your host. This is State of the Steelers. Let me adjust this real quick. All right, hope everybody can hear me okay. Hope everybody can, the sound sounds good. So what I wanted to talk to you guys about tonight or kind of go over is going to be the defense. You know, there's been a lot of talk here recently on the offense, and rightfully so. Our offense has been, had some new additions, especially out in the draft, and some big pieces. And, so a lot of the attentions have been going that way, rightfully so. So right now I kind of want to look towards the defense and see what we're doing on the defense and kind of talk about that. I'm going to talk about who I think is going to be on the starting defense if the roster stays the same. And so with that being said, we're going to start up front. That was going to be our weakest part of our defense last year was our defensive line, our inability to stop the run, our inability to, especially later in the season towards the end, after injuries and whatnot, we really faded out on the defensive line and became one of the worst, defensive rushing teams. And so to start out the year, I think, our basic, starting defense is going to start off with Tuitt. If he comes back, if he's healthy, there's a lot of speculation last year. He missed a lot of time. He had a death in the family. His brother was killed. And then he had what we understand is a knee injury of some kind. He was seen in the building with a knee brace and whatnot. And so he never got to get on the field last year. He has been kind of injury riddled throughout his career. I don't think he's actually gone a full 16 games in his career without being injured. And so with that being said, he's going to be there. Behind him, we're going to have Wormley and Loudermilk, fighting for position behind him. In those, we're going to have Alualu with Martavius Adams behind him. Alualu is one of our older guys. He's getting up there. He's 35 years old. He's a guy that we lost last year very early on in the season due to an ankle injury. And as soon as he got out, that's kind of when our rushing defense kind of went out the window as well. And so him coming back healthy is going to be a huge plus. It's going to really make that added dynamic portion of the front line that we were missing last year, which caused us to fall apart on the defensive line. And then next to him, which has been the staple point and the only positive side of the defensive line last year or here recently would be Cameron Hayward. He's going to be on the right side there. And so, of course, with Wormley and Loudermilk and DeMarvin Leal, the new rookie third rounder out of Texas A&M, they're going to be rotating in and out when they do when they have a 3-man or a 4-man front. I suspect Wormley or Loudermilk will be entering the game, and Leal's going to be giving them breathers, giving them a break. Now, here's where I have the most concern, and that's going to be in the outside linebacker. Now, with our starters, with TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith, I think we're pretty solid. I think we're pretty good. It's when it comes to the depth behind them, and when it comes to we're going to have to give them a breather. I mean, we have Tuzar and we have Jannard Avery. And that's it, really, to be honest with you. And it's just one of those situations if we have a team that, if our offense struggles, especially early on and how we have been in recent years early in the season, then the defense is going to be out there. We have a new quarterback, regardless if we're going with the rookie or not. That's probably going to lead to some struggles and some time of possession issues early on. And so with that being said, we're going to have to rotate the front defensive line, and that's going to include our linebackers. And so TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith are going to have to come out of the game. We saw last year when we tried to lean on them heavily, they both were injured. I mean, last year we had the growing injury bug hit us early and often. And so a lot of it, and a lot of people can say that it kind of was attributed to Watt missing early on in the season due to contract situations. However, I think also the fact that they were on the field as often as they were and how often they were leaned upon had a lot to do with why there were so many injuries, along the defense. But when you have Derek, I can't escapes me, the last name escapes me, and Genard Avery, when those are the guys that are your backups and those are the guys that are going to be coming in, it's a concern. And so I think we're going to have to pick up somebody. We're going to have to pick up somebody maybe a little bit more experienced, somebody a veteran. But who knows? Because it's going to be kind of, if one of those guys, either Watt or Highsmith, goes down, it's going to make for a long year, for a long game, forever, however long that they're going to be out. TJ Watt didn't miss significant at times, but when he was out, it was significant impact. And so, I mean, I can think of the first Bengals game that we played against, the first game against the Bengals last year that we played. Both Alex Highsmith and Watt were out, and we didn't sack Joe Burrow, who was the most sacked quarterback in the NFL last year, not once. And so, it's concerning. It's extremely concerning when you have no outside depth, knowing that we're going to be rotating them. In the inside linebacker position, we're going to have Devin Bush and Miles Jack. I think that Miles Jack is going to be primarily going to be the guy wearing the green dot for the most part. I think that Devin Bush, he's going to have to play. He's going to have to ball out. At the end of the day, they denied his fifth-year contract, and rightfully so. Last year, he wasn't the dynamic player he was, prior to the ACL injury. Kevin Colbert, he even said it himself. There's two Devin Bushes. There's Devin Bush before the ACL, and there's Devin Bush after. And when you have that kind of situation where Devin Bush's injury comes to the part where it's impacting you that way, and they don't pick up that fifth-year option, it's not looking so good for him. He did have a reel here recently of him working out, and my concern about it is he did look noticeably thicker. He did look noticeably bigger, and not so much in the best of ways, to be honest with you. And so he was a linebacker that made a name for himself in the sideline to sideline realm, and the ability to run fast and to keep up with the speedier, the slot receivers and the tight ends that are receiving tight ends and things of that nature. And if he's going to get heavier and he's going to have to get bigger, then that's going to cut down on his side to side or sideline to sideline speed more so than it is now. Then I think he's kind of going in the wrong direction. Behind him is going to be Robert Spillane and Marcus Allen. I know we drafted Buddy Johnson last year, but he didn't really see much time. He's going to have to make an impact in the special teams game if he's going to want to make the team. Marcus Allen, he's just been one of those guys that's just kind of stuck around and been here and made a name. He's kind of like the Dan McCullers, so to speak. But, he can kind of cover being a former safety, and I'm guessing that's what the defense and the defensive coaches are hoping for. And with Brian Flores now coaching him, who knows? Maybe he'll turn his career into something pretty good. Not saying that he's been bad or anything like that. It's just, he's been, as in my opinion, as what he is a converted linebacker. He's not the high pedigree like the Jack or the Bush. And so at safety, this is going to be the interesting one. We have Minkah Fitzpatrick, and that's going to be your free safety, your safety that's going to be roaming around. He did a lot better last year and did very well and impressively well when he came to tackling. And so he stepped up in that game, and we needed that to happen because if it weren't for him, we definitely would have lost significantly more games. There was so many times where he was what he was, which is the safety in the last resort. And if not for him, there'd be a lot more explosive plays against us last year. Next to him is going to be the question mark. Now, right now, I believe Edmonds has the highest contract, so to speak. He's getting paid the most at $2.5 million, which isn't a lot, and he's only a one-year contract. I believe him, Carl Joseph, and Casey which is the newest safety that we just recently contracted. They all are 1 year contracts, so they're going to be in competition, in direct competition. My best bet is that I think Casey's going to make him and Edmonds and Minka are going to make their presence on the field at the same time several times throughout the game. We have we're in a division where there's a lot of fast running backs and screens and runs, especially from the quarterback position as well. We have a lot of mobile quarterbacks in our division. And so with that being said, having this, speed and tackling ability, maybe replacing a Devin Bush with a KZ or a Carl Joseph at the inside position, on passing downs might increase our chances for success. And so the last position that we have is going to be the cornerback. Now, I think that the recently signed Levi Wallace is going to be our starting outside cornerback, along with Witherspoon from last year. Witherspoon made a name for himself late. He made several interceptions throughout a couple of different games, and really solidified himself as a top player. He had to prove himself because he doesn't play special teams, and so he had to wait for a Joe Hayden to go down due to injury to make his presence. And so I remember last year there was a lot of frustration among Steeler fans with him because we traded a 5th round pick for him, and then he showed up. I believe the first game afterwards he didn't do so well, and then he kind of disappeared for a while. And so it wasn't until Joe Hayden got injured or was out due to COVID where he came in and actually shined. And well, he's here and Joe Hayden ain't. And so I think that them two are going to be the outside guys. I think in the inside, or at the slot, we're going to have a combination between Sutton and Arthur Mollett. Mollett, towards the end of last year, kind of looked a lot like your Mike Hilton, especially on the blitzing and the tackling end. I think he's going to be he's going to be what the Steelers are trying to turn him into, Mike Hilton. And so if he can kind of become that player, I think as long as everybody stays healthy, I think we have a pretty solid defense. I think we're going to be back in the top 10. I think that with the acquisition of with having Martavius Adams and Tyson Alualu back, and Martavius Adams here for the full season and not picking him up and having him, enter, like Mike Tomlin says, a moving train, because we're already in the middle of the season. This is his first, full off season with training camp, whole 9 yards. But that being said, with those guys and those guys being there, I think that that's going to really help out our run defense just to start, to be honest with you. Having Tuitt back as well is going to be a huge plus. I know that the Steelers have been kind of hush-hush about that, which kind of concerns me because, well, if you had good news, wouldn't you say something? And then again, there's that saying, no news is good news. And so, I don't know. I was really hoping that he would come in last year. I was hoping that he would be there towards the end, and especially once we made it into the playoffs, and that he would be there. And when he wasn't, it was really concerning, and the fact that he's not back yet is still a little concerning. The only thing that I believe is a little bit positive when it comes to it is that there's been reports that he's in the building. He's been working out and he's there. And so, he was there before the draft. He wasn't traded away. So in my opinion, he's going to play. And if he does, and he can come back to a form similar to what he was last year, in 2000, pre-injury, pre-loss of his brother, then I think that we're going to be pretty solid. I mean, you can't double everybody. When you think about it, you're going to have Hayward and Tuitt and Watt on the same defensive line pressuring. Somebody's going to get in free. And that's not accounting for, Highsmith and Alualu that potentially could be on the same line right there. And so those guys are going to be, somebody's going to have to be singly covered or singly blocked. And I think that these guys, when they're on a one-on-one, they can beat anybody in the NFL. And so we're going to give some quarterbacks some headaches. And just given the fact that, if Tuitt and Alualu do come back at, similar, performance that they were before, then that's going to allow us to not have to blitz as much, and then we can drop back in coverage a little bit more and still gain the pressure that we need, thus giving us all those interceptions that we had the year previously. And so that's where I'm at on this, guys. I think our defense is going to be okay. I think we need to pick up at least an outside linebacker. I mean, I'm going to look at some more film on Jannard Avery. I looked at some briefly, and when we picked him up, and he seems kind of like a guy that can either play on the outside or the inside. It seems like he did both, whether he was with Cleveland or I believe he was with the Eagles before. And so, excuse me, I believe he's not that. Well, he's about 6 foot, so he's not that tall. He's not, the TJ Watt size or height. He's not going to be, the Taco Carlton type of defensive end / outside linebacker. But, we've had shorter linebackers on the outside that be successful. Think of your Debo. Think of even Alex Highsmith. I don't think Alex Highsmith is very tall. I'm not sure how tall he is off the top of my head, but I don't think he's your prototypical 6'3", 6'4" outside linebacker. And so, I think that we covered our bases on the safety issue. I think that if Edmonds balls out, that he's going to get an opportunity to get his contract extended at the end of this year. I think that if one of the other two gentlemen beat him out, they're going to be in the running for that extension. And so either way, I don't think it's going to be something that's going to be bank breaking, or they're going to back the Brinks cart or truck, so to speak, when it comes to that position. Inside linebacker, I think we're okay. We have, if Bush can come back to a pre-ACL injury type of Devin Bush, then I think that we're going to be all right. I think we'll be more than all right. I think we're going to be fantastic, and we'll be a top 3 defense if that ends up being the situation. Because if we can, develop pressure and stop the run, in my opinion, our defensive backs are pretty strong. That's one of our strong suits. We're going to end up getting more turnovers, and we're going to get the ball back to an offense that needs a little bit of confidence right now. And so, with that being said, guys, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go. It's been great. I'm Daniel with State of the Steelers. I'll be doing another live. We usually do it on Fridays, but I'm probably going to be doing it on Thursday this week, just because we're going to be that's when the NFL schedule is going to be released. So we'll be going on shortly after, kind of get our reaction, talk about what games I'm excited for, talk to you guys, see what games you guys are excited for, see which, and if any of you guys are going to be attending any of the games. Again, I am a season ticket holder, so I'm very, very much looking forward to Thursday night, so I can see which games are going to be coming out. I will know which games I'm going to be attending. I typically only attend 2 games a year, and I sell the rest. So if anybody is interested in potentially purchasing some tickets for some of the games that are out this year, I'm in section 122. It's in the lower end zone level, kind of pretty much almost dead center between the field goal post. It's a pretty good view. I enjoy it. In fact, I'll probably post a picture up or something in the morning video or something about where it's at. But if you're interested, once the season comes out and there's a game that you may want to attend, I get 2 tickets. You can contact me at stateofthesteelers@gmail.com. And, you can either inquire about the tickets, or we do a daily question segment in the mornings. You can send me your questions there, and then I'll answer them daily every morning. Also, guys, we're on Twitter. We're at State of Steelers. So if you have questions, if you want to, participate in that daily question segment, you can leave a question on Facebook. You can leave a question here on YouTube, or tweet us at State of Steelers. Please hit that like and subscribe button and that notification button with that bell. That way you guys are notified anytime I do come on live, or when I do send out those morning segments. With that being said, guys, I'm Daniel. This is State of the Steelers, and go Steelers.